Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for your patience this afternoon. My name is Rachel Weisberg. I am so thrilled to be here today with all of you and with my team on the Independent Client Assistance Program, or CAP. We are here today to tell you all about the new CAP program, how it can help you if you're someone who works in the disability field, and how it can serve your help with your clients or your customers, and all of the wonderful services that we are able to provide. So moving on to the next slide. For folks who are not aware, hopefully everyone here is, we are Equip for Equality. Equip for Equality is the protection and advocacy system, or the P&A, for the state of Illinois. There's an organization like ours in every single state. We are designated to provide legal assistance for people with disabilities on issues related to their disability. Our mission is to advance the human and civil rights of people with disabilities in Illinois. And of course, we do that through this free legal assistance. We have several legal teams. We have a civil rights team, a special education team, and an abuse and neglect unit. And our contact information is 1-800-537-2632. And our website is equipforequality.org. Okay, but we're here today to talk about CAP, or the Client Assistance Program. So what is CAP? Well, there's a law out there that folks are probably familiar with called the Rehabilitation Act. And the Rehabilitation Act provides all sorts of services for people. I think a lot of us know of the Rehab Act because we know about Section 504, right? The anti-discrimination parts. But the Rehab Act does a lot more than that. It has a section that creates and establishes the vocational rehabilitation system. And it also has a section that talks about centers for independent living and the independent living services that those centers provide. We, of course, all know those as SILs. And so what CAP does is it's part of the Rehabilitation Act says, we are providing all of these services to people with disabilities. We're providing voc rehab. We're providing independent living services. We want to make sure that there's an advocacy component. So if people feel that they're not getting the services that they need and are entitled to, that there is some sort of advocate that can help them. So that really is what the CAP program is. There's another part of the CAP program that says, again, the goal is to help people maintain competitive integrated employment. And so we want to make sure that folks who are getting services under the Rehabilitation Act understand their employment rights. So CAP also specifically is here to advise and inform people about their rights under Title I of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So around the country, if you look at where these CAP programs are housed, almost all of them are housed within that P&A network that I mentioned. But for various reasons, here in the state of Illinois, for many years, CAP was housed within state government, within the Division of Rehabilitation Services. Well, we have to say we have been advocating to make CAP an independent program, and we've had a lot of support within the disability community. And it finally was able to happen because we had the support within the department, within the division. The director of rehab services, Ronnie Patrick, the secretary of DHS, and the governor's office have been really supportive of trying to of taking CAP from inside state government and moving it to the an independent program. And so, we're here to officially announce that as of July 1st, 2022, CAP was redesignated from inside DRS to Equip for Equality. So I wanted to introduce you to the CAP team. And the reason why is I want it to be really clear. If someone calls Equip for Equality in the CAP program, what's going to happen? What can we do? Who are you going to talk to? And I'm not sure I'm brave enough to try to get everyone to turn on their cameras, given all of our issues, but I'll make sure that folks are able to introduce themselves. So our CAP team as of this month, again, my name is Rachel Weisberg. I am a managing attorney at Equip for Equality. I manage our anti-discrimination and employment work. I've been at Equip for Equality for about 10 years. And while I love all of the work that I do here, my passion has really always been employment. I became an actor. I entered the advocacy field because I grew up with a dad with a disability. And really the biggest thing that impacted me was his experience with work. He loved his job. It gave him so much self-esteem and pride that he was able to work to continue his job. And he eventually lost his job as a result of his disability. And it was a really, really challenging thing for him and our family to go through. And so I think that experience made me realize how important employment is and how I wanted to really help advocate for folks to have equal access to employment. Sarah, are you able to unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Hi, hello, hi everyone. My name is Sarah. I am a staff attorney at Equip for Equality and a member of our new CAP advocacy team. I've been at EFE for a little bit over a year now, and at first I was focusing mainly on employment cases, and then I transitioned to working on our CAP advocacy team. And I'm really passionate about disability rights work and disability advocacy, and I'm really excited to be able to work with people in Illinois to help them get the services they need.
Thank you. Megan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan, and I am a staff attorney here at Equip for Equality. And I've been with the organization for a little over 8 years now. And throughout those years, I've had a real variety of experiences, which have involved working with clients who receive DRS services, or just spreading the word to clients, such as post-secondary students who don't know about DRS and would really benefit from those services. So I'm really, really excited to delve into this CAP advocacy team and just really do all that we can to support DRS and others in the disability community to promote employment of people with disabilities. So nice to meet you all virtually.
Thank you, Megan. And Emily.
Hey everyone, my name is Emily. I'm a staff attorney and a member of our CAP team. I've been with Equip for Equality for a little over 2 years now, and I work primarily in our special education clinic and have a lot of experience working with transition age youth and getting connected to transition services through school, and also really trying to make sure families are connected with DRS services as their students are finishing up high school and moving on to those next steps. So excited to continue that work as a member of our CAP team.
Okay, so our plan for our next 45 minutes together or so is I'm going to pass the presentation over to Megan, who will give us an overview of all of the services that we're talking about under the Rehab Act. So the Division of Rehabilitation Services, Centers for Independent Living, and of course, then we'll talk more about the Client Assistance Program. We'll explain our role about the Client Assistance Program, and we'll also outline the process and what clients can expect when they call CAP. And then at the end, we'll share some resources that are available to you. And we'll follow up today with a copy of today's presentation so that there's links and other information for you. So Megan, you're up.
Okay, Rachel, let me try to do the video and see if it works.
You're not going to be able to do the video.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
No problem at all. Okay, so first we want to spend some time talking about DRS, the Division of Rehabilitation Services. And I'll start off by saying that many of us here on the CAP team, as well as other folks on the call, may have heard DRS referred to as DOORS. And so it's come to our attention that DRS is now referring to VR services by DRS, but just wanted to alert you if you hear clients and other individuals referring to it by its old name as DOORS, it's one and the same. Did it freeze on anybody's end? I think it might be frozen on.
You're fine, Megan.
Okay, I'm seeing other things that are frozen. So DRS as an organization provides both home services as well as vocational rehabilitation services. And the mission of DRS is really to work in partnership and collaboration with individuals with disabilities and their families to provide the services that they need. And this is entirely consistent with how we're envisioning our role as CAP in, working collaboratively with experts and folks on the ground at DRS to really hopefully achieve some great employment outcomes for folks. So on the next slide, we're looking at who is eligible to receive DRS services. So individuals are eligible to receive DRS services if they are interested and wanting to work. And also if they have a significant physical or mental impairment that makes it difficult to work. And so if you'll notice, the eligibility requirements include high school and transition age students who are looking for assistance with preparing to enter the workforce or looking for part-time job experiences. And once an individual applies for DRS VR services, they'll meet with a counselor who will create what's called an IPE, or an individualized plan of employment. And the great thing is this IPE is uniquely tailored to the individual's specific educational and vocational goals. So this example, the slide that shows the examples of VR services is not intended to be exhaustive. It's just some of the many great services and supports that DRS can offer. So some of the services that may be included in an individual's IPE are job training and job coaching, help with finding a job, that may be assistance with preparing a resume or preparing for a job interview, paying for supplies needed for employment, like a uniform, specific tools, or licensure fees. Another great resource that a lot of our clients have not been aware of is DRS can pay for college or another training program that is helpful for employment goals. DRS can help provide assistive technology, pay for vocational evaluations, and provide independent living support. And so it's really helpful to know how exactly we can connect folks to DRS to learn about these amazing services. So in the slides that Rachel mentioned that you'll all receive, there's a hyperlink to a DHS office locator website. So you can just insert an individual's county that they live in and a zip code and find the local DRS office. In some places like Chicago, where we have so many people and DRS offices, there may be more than one to choose from. Another way is you can contact the local DRS office or fill out an online referral form. And generally, when someone completes that application form, they should hope to receive a response from the local DRS office in a couple of weeks to start that application process. So another big part of the CAP advocacy team that Rachel mentioned is helping individuals access the services provided by the Centers for Independent Living. And that is known by the acronym CIL. So CILs are designed and operated by individuals who have disabilities. And one neat thing that I learned is 51% of the staff and board members at CILs must in fact be individuals with disabilities. So it's really neat that folks with disabilities are serving and working with other members of the disability community. And just as DRS services are funded through the Rehabilitation Act, the same is true of Centers for Independent Living. And there's some general buckets of the types of services that CILs provide. And that can be grouped into these kind of categories of advocacy, independent living skills, which might be working on budgeting, mobility training, managing a personal assistant, peer support services, transition support, which is so crucial. And that could be a transition from a nursing home into the community, transition for individuals who are formerly incarcerated and re-entering, as well as transition age youths. And in addition to these transition supports, SILs also provide information and referral on a wide variety of services. And these are just some examples of additional services that I think SILs are really unique and have been a great resource for our clients in terms of services that we don't offer at Equip for Equality. So housing assistance, often on an emergency assistance basis, help with transportation, help with employment, help with public benefits, specifically applying for public benefits, how public benefits will be impacted by work, assistive technology, and a lot of really important grassroots and community organization to advocate for issues affecting the disability community. So on this slide, there's an image of the state of Illinois, and within it, there are the names of all of the different counties. And so the easiest way to identify the local center for independent living that serves a client in a particular county, you can go to a website that is currently under construction. It is www.insil.org, and you can search by county. Also, a quick Google search of a county will reveal the local center for independent living.
Okay, thanks, Megan, for that overview of the different types of services. So let's talk about CAP and what the independent CAP at Equip for Equality can do. And this is Rachel. So one area that the CAP at Equip for Equality can help with is by providing individual assistance for folks who are seeking services from DRS. So we're calling DRS applicants and customers. And so our role at CAP is to provide information, advice, and advocacy service for people who are eligible for, applying for, or receiving VR services. And so a couple examples of the types of situations that we've already been working with folks on. Maybe we have somebody who wants to work and they're just looking for job seeker support services. Where do I go? What should I do? What does that look like? You know, there doesn't have to be kind of this anything bad that has happened. We can be there to help somebody behind the scenes to get them connected with the appropriate services. We can also help if someone is just unable to figure out how to open a referral for DRS services for Voc Rehab, or maybe someone has created a referral, but some time has passed and no one from DRS has followed up. That would be an appropriate time to contact us to see if we can make things happen and expedite the process a bit. Other examples of individual type services that we provide is sometimes someone will seek services from VR and from DRS, and they're found to be ineligible. That would be a really good time to reach out to us, and we can evaluate the situation, figure out if that was a correct determination, and provide advice and even advocacy to actually get those services. Sometimes people, Megan gave a nice overview of what this IPE, the Individualized Plan for Employment, looks like. Well, maybe somebody has a disagreement with their VR counselor about what their goals should be. Well, of course, we as people with disabilities want to be able to have control over what our goals are, right? So we're here to help try to facilitate an appropriate IPE. Sometimes a person in DRS, maybe they agree with the ultimate goal, but not necessarily all the steps that they need along the way. We can help with that. Sometimes there's situations where it's a communication breakdown between a DRS counselor and a customer. Sometimes what we found is that we can just kind of be a helpful facilitator to try to make sure and get a relationship back on the right track. And often we're finding folks maybe have their file closed and they're not ready to have their file closed. That's also a situation where we can get involved. So if you are experiencing that, if anyone you work with are experiencing any of these issues, all really appropriate times to contact CAP. We wanted to really emphasize that CAP doesn't have to be, yes, we're at Equip for Equality, we're lawyers, but there doesn't have to be a conflict or some sort of bad adverse action to have happened. We can really benefit a situation by just, again, helping to be that facilitator. So, if someone has questions, if they just want to brainstorm or bounce ideas off of somebody, want to better understand their rights to VR services or ideas for self-advocacy, again, all times to contact CAP. Really, no question or issue is too small. So in addition to providing individual advocacy services for people, we also want to make sure that we're looking at both the VR system, the SIL system, the employment world, the transition world, all of these really important things from a systemic level too. And so our role as CAP is to identify and advocate to overcome systemic barriers, all with this goal of competitive integrated employment. So how do we do this? What's our plan? Well, we, as a matter of statute, have a seat on the State Rehab Council, and that's been a great way to be able to advise about observations that we're having and also learn about what's happening throughout the state. And of course, we want to learn from you all, right? We want to learn from our individual experiences representing VR customers, and also our experiences representing and helping all sorts of applicants and employees with disabilities across Illinois. So really, please let us know if you'd like to share your observations. Any sort of observations that you would want to share about your experiences with the VR system, with the SIL system, with employment generally. We're excited that we now have the opportunity to really focus on some of these issues. Sorry, quick moment. I think I need to make our interpreter the host so that we can see her video. Okay. As I mentioned, when we gave a high-level overview, another part of the CAP program is to provide advocacy and advice and information about Title I of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So those are, of course, the employment parts of the ADA. So how can we help there? Well, we at the CAP program can help with anyone who's eligible or receiving VR services. We can help them understand their questions about disability disclosure. Should I disclose my disability when I'm applying for a job? If so, how do I do that? When do I do that? Why? What are the risks? We can also help folks with reasonable accommodation requests, both figuring out what sort of accommodation to ask for, again, how to ask for it, what to do if an employer says no. And then we can also help if someone has been experiencing discrimination. So what do we do if someone's in the workplace, or VR has been really great at getting somebody an interview, but then they're turned down for reasons only related to their disability? We can talk through all of those situations with people. In addition to answering questions, we can support people by writing accommodation requests, and we can, of course, brainstorm solutions if individuals are encountering a difficult employer. I'm going to turn it over to Emily to talk about transition services.
Thanks, Rachel. This is Emily. So another aspect of our CAP role is when we think about transition services for youth with disabilities. So we can provide, similar to the other roles that we have, we can provide information and advice to assist DRS customers and potential applicants in accessing VR services while they're still in school. So there are a number of different ways that we can help in this capacity. We can help youth and their families get connected with these services, whether it's the pre-employment transition services, so those earlier services for youth trying to get ready to be joining the workforce eventually, right, when they're even younger, or DRS services in their community, whether it's actually getting connected with that DRS office and filling out the application and really getting started. We can also answer your questions about special education transition services, as well as how those interact with potential DRS services and those pre-ET services that are commonly, you might have heard of them as the STEP program or the fast track program, are the common ones that we hear about. We can also help you advocate for appropriate transition services in school that allow your child to access those VR services. So if there are services that your child needs to be getting from their school program that really help them to benefit from DRS services and be able to really reach that employment goal, that's something that we can help with as well. So we can also help with consumers of SIL services, so those centers for independent living. So similar to how the roles that we've talked about so far, we can provide information and advice to assist applicants and consumers of independent living services through their local SIL. So again, this is limited to those services that are funded by the Rehabilitation Act. So those independent living services coming from the SIL. Some services that we can help individuals access include housing assistance, advocacy support, and then assistance finding a personal service worker.
All right, and we wanted to give you an overview of, what you can expect when you reach out to CAP and how our process works. And so when you call CAP, it's similar to other EFE services if you've ever called us before, where a caller will reach out, they'll leave a voicemail with their name and contact information. You can also reach out by email, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. And we'll initially we'll reach out to schedule an intake call. And so that'll be an initial call. They usually take about 45 minutes to an hour. And on the call, we'll first go over some background demographic questions, things like, your address, your date of birth, make sure we have your contact information correct. And then we'll ask you to tell us a little bit more about the situation and why you've reached out to us, what sort of assistance you're looking for, what your goals are, what questions you want us to answer. And so we'll talk through all of that and make sure we have a good sense of, your case and of what we can help, how we can help. And so once you've called and once we've had that initial intake call, there are some situations if you have, if you mainly just have a quick question, if you want just some information about, how can I get in touch with somebody at DRS? What are some basic resources on this? Something like that. We might be able to provide you advice on the spot, and we can, or send you information on the spot right after the call. In other cases, and this is probably more common, what we'll do next is that we will bring our notes from the intake call to the CAP team, and we'll all kind of discuss what we might be able to do to help, what sort of advice we can provide. And then we'll follow up with the caller and talk with them we'll go over our advice. We'll talk about next steps. There might also be some cases where we'll initially ask if you're interested in signing a release of information form so that we can request records from DRS to learn more about the case to help us figure out how we can help you. But that basically that's the way the intake process works. And then also one thing to note is that when we're moving forward with cases, our directive is to try to resolve things with the lowest level of intervention that we can. So that means that our first goal will be to try to see if we can work out an informal solution with your counselor and with DRS and to get your situation resolved. If that doesn't work, then we can consider other options as well. But our goal is to work collaboratively with DRS to make sure that our clients are getting their goals met and also having a good working relationship with their counselor.
Thanks, Sarah. And this is Rachel again. Before I jump into the other EFE services, we do have one question, and feel free throughout, the rest of the discussion today. If you have questions, feel free to put them in either the Q&A. The Q&A would probably be the best place, actually. Put them in the Q&A. So the question is, do we help individuals who have a plenary guardian? And the answer to that is yes. We at Equip for Equality have a number of cases where we have folks who contact us who are under legal guardianship. As lawyers, our obligation is always to take direction from the person with a disability and to advise and take as much direction as we can from them. Because of the way that a plenary guardianship is set up, there are circumstances where we will, of course, need a guardian to perhaps sign a retainer agreement or sign that release of information. And so what we want to do is just make sure that the guardian's directives are in line and consistent with what our client would ultimately want. So hopefully that answers that question. There's also a question about whether or not we would help to find a PSW if they have a DDD Medicaid waiver. So the CAP program, it's, of course, there's this kind of acronym city of all disability services. So I just want to make sure that we're pretty clear that the CAP program is specifically about vocational rehabilitation from DRS, right? In addition to SILs, in addition to Title I of the ADA. There's been a lot of confusion, I think, because any sort of complaints or concerns about HSP or the Home Services Program, those do not go to CAP. We still help with those at Equip for Equality. There's also the ombuds who can help with those situations, but that's not a CAP service. The same thing with DDD Medicaid waiver services. We at Equip for Equality help folks address any sort of legal barriers to getting services through the Medicaid waiver program, but that also would be outside the scope of what the CAP specific services are. Kind of a side note, one somewhat recent change to the way that DRS has been kind of serving people is that there's now an MOU, or a memorandum of understanding, between DRS and DDD, the Division of Developmental Disabilities. And there's a program to make sure that folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities are being appropriately served by the voc rehab process. And that's an issue that we're particularly, excited about and following, and we really want to make sure that that's being done well and effectively, because of course, it's just, again, consistent with everything we stand for at Equip for Equality is let's help everyone with disabilities, including folks with IDD, move into competitive integrated employment. So if that's the world that you are living or working in, and you have any experiences and want to talk, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so hopefully that answers those questions. If you have more, keep them coming. But I wanted to just take a moment while we have you all to very quickly go over some of the other EFE services that we have. So we want to highlight two other new-ish programs. The first is that we have some funding to provide legal assistance to remove re-entry barriers. This is funding that we have from the Access to Justice grant, and we help people with disabilities overcome barriers to re-entry from jail or prison. So if that is something that interests you, you want to learn more, part of the population that you work with or are part of, feel free to reach out to Ruben Batista. His email is Ruben, R-U-B-E-N, @equipforequality.org. We also wanted to highlight that we have some funding to provide training on the cannabis legalization and expungement. Perhaps you've been to one of those trainings that we've had over the last year or two. And we provide free training seminars on the new Illinois cannabis legalization law and how to expunge cannabis criminal records. And we are able to do this with funding from the Illinois Equal Justice Foundation. So for folks who might be interested in that, please contact Barry Taylor at barryt@equipforequality.org. It's hard for me to give a presentation without talking about the Employment Rights Helpline. It's a program that I also manage, and this is a free program where we provide job seekers and employees with disabilities legal assistance, mostly behind the scenes, about all of their employment rights questions. And so everything from talking about people's rights to helping them with reasonable accommodations. We have a whole host of fact sheets, sample letters, and forms, and we can give referrals. And again, the whole goal is, for people who are in the workplace that want to kind of talk through employment issues as they happen in real time. We're here to provide that free support, again, consistent with this goal of keeping people in careers that are meaningful to them and in competitive integrated employment. Lastly, we also, of course, have our special education clinic that provides free assistance to students with disabilities and families who are seeking to secure a free, appropriate public education. So the clinic also provides, similar to the helpline, self-advocacy assistance, sample letters, forms, trainings, and then legal advocacy in some select cases as well. And I think just kind of the cool thing about having CAP at Equip for Equality is that we now are able to really provide full range of services to people. So, we have this whole robust special education clinic, but now we're able to address folks who are getting transition services through DRS, as Emily talked about. And the same thing with employment. We've always provided employment assistance, but now we can kind of address the DRS piece as well. So it's really exciting. And I think there's a lot of really great work that we can be doing under this program.
Thanks, Rachel. And this is Emily. So just wanted to also talk about some of the available CAP resources. So we are working on a number of self-advocacy resources that will be available. So fact sheets, sample letters, worksheets, really to help you understand the VR process, self-advocacy tips, Title I, when we think about disclosing a disability, accommodations, filing charges, kind of what your rights are throughout that process, as well as transition, when we think about youth with disabilities. So we are working on developing all of those resources right now, and are going to make sure that those are available in English, Spanish, and ASL. And then we're also working on what other languages would be helpful. And so we'll have those coming as well. And all of this information is going to be available on our website, which is just www.equipforequality.org/CAP. Additionally, we want to highlight, like we mentioned before, we want to hear what's happening. So if you are having issues, or if you have questions, or you're noticing common questions, we definitely want to develop resources that will be of best service to individuals. So please let us know that information. In addition to the self-advocacy resources, we're going to be doing trainings like this one. So we'll have monthly 1-hour trainings like this one today that will be recorded and posted to our website. So you'll have this information available to you at any time. We have a calendar up on our website right now that outlines the next few trainings that we're going to be doing. So obviously today, November 18th, is our introduction to CAP. The next one coming up is December 2nd from 12 to 1. And that training is going to focus on changing workplace rules to do your job well and reasonable accommodations. And then January 6th from 12 to 1 is the next training, and it's on understanding your right to DRS services during high school, specifically those transition services. So again, this is all listed on our CAP website, and we hope that you'll join us for those trainings as well. And lastly, our CAP contact information. So all of this to say, please contact us, right? So CAP at Equip for Equality, that website information again, as well as our phone number. And our number is 1-855-IL-CAP-25 or 855-452-2725. And then we also have a CAP email address, which is just cap@equipforequality.org. And then we would love for, if anybody has questions, we're happy to address those questions if you would like to put them in the chat or the Q&A section.
Thanks, Emily. And this is Rachel. There's a great question that I'm going to let Emily answer. And the question is, will you also help transition-aged youth in rural areas when school districts don't have STEP programs or a SIL in their area?
Absolutely. That is an area that we have, very specific concerns about, and are working to address that and talking with DRS about some steps that we can take to really help facilitate youth getting access to those programs when they're not generally available. So that's definitely something that we can help with, and would love to talk to you further about it.
And Emily, I'm going to keep you in the hot seat. This is Rachel. The next question is, can you talk a little bit about having someone from DRS attend a transition IEP meeting? In my experience, there seems to be a separation between the two. DRS barely participates in IEP meetings as they see their role to begin after the student has graduated. How can we advocate for IDEA and DRS services to work together to help an individual with disabilities receive the services that they need? I think that this was a planned question because this is definitely what we wanted to talk about. Go ahead, Emily.
Yes, this is exactly what we want to be working on, right? And a big reason why I'm a part of this CAP team is because we see this as well, and have those specific concerns about how do we collaborate those services? How do we coordinate to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks and everyone is working together to the benefit of the student or the young adult who is moving into this world? So that is something that we are continuing to push for and continuing to advocate with DRS to be more involved in that process and really changing that conversation to be about how we work together between those two services. So happy to talk to any families about that and provide as much advocacy assistance as we can on an individual basis as well.
What other questions do folks have? Oh, yes. Okay. There's a question or a comment. And again, it's just so interesting. I mean, we're all really on the same page here. So the comment is, another barrier seems to be responsibility for transportation once a workplace is found, especially with school. And I think you have really identified a huge barrier. And this is something that I know has been I know at the recent, I mentioned systemically, we're looking at huge barriers. And so at the most recent SRC meeting, or the State Rehab Council meeting, this was a huge topic. And it's one that I think the CILs, the Center for Independent Living, are really focused on as well, right? Because we just see barriers related to transportation all across the state for different reasons, really, when you're in an urban versus a rural area, but really across the state. And, you know, from the VR context, it certainly precludes somebody from having effective competitive integrated employment. I know sometimes we address it at Equip for Equality when it's somebody who's trying to go to a medical appointment or other sorts of non-school or work related things. But this is something that we have front of mind. I don't have any great answers today, but it's something that we're thinking about. So we, again, outreach, we'd love to hear any ideas, thoughts, stories. Again, I know that the Centers for Independent Living are actually collecting specific transportation related stories so that they can use in their advocacy. So I have agreed to help collect some of those. So if you have one, reach out to me again through that CAP contact information. Another comment / question is, it seems to me that IDEA does not seem to be very well understood across DRS, especially in urban and rural areas. Emily, you want to respond to that one?
Sorry, I had an issue with unmuting there. Yeah, so I think that that's a conversation that needs to continue to be had, right? And expanding DRS services and recognizing that those services are available to youth, and that we need to expand that further and have those conversations so that it is further understood. And that's part of what we're thinking about with that when we talk about kind of a collaborative work model with DRS, is making sure that counselors really understand what those things are, and we can have open conversations about what IDEA rights a student has and how we coordinate those transition services moving forward. And I think that's definitely an area of growth that we are hoping to help with.
Okay, well, thank you all for these really thoughtful questions and comments. I don't see anything else in either the chat or in the Q&A section. Let me give it one more moment in case anyone has any last minute ones. But again, the goal here is that we wanted folks to know who we are, what we're doing, this new project that we have. But we're continually open and a resource. So you've met all of us now. Apologies for the videos not working for everyone. We will get this sorted out by our next training. But please, please, please reach out if you're experiencing any of these either barriers or just questions, or you just want to problem solve. That would be really, really fantastic. So thank you for your time today. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a nice weekend.